Not sure if many of you know, but we do have a virtual tier within the Design Coven, virtual pro member tier, which includes 3 virtual meetings a month where we set intentions. We do group coaching. So bring all your questions. We answer those questions and you get to learn from other people going through the same struggles as you. We also do a business practice meeting. So we'll have somebody on to share a business practice that we can all benefit from. And then we also do a product training. So getting a sustainable, eco-friendly line to come on, share who they are so that we can be supported with other like-minded businesses. And if you're not quite ready for pro, you can always join our free community where you will connect with other like-minded holistic interior designers. You don't have to be an interior designer if you are kind of just dabbling or you're aspiring or you're looking into this field. We invite everybody from all journeys, and you don't, again, have to be a designer. You don't have to have a degree. We're just a beautiful community of like-minded people looking to create healing spaces, not just for ourselves, but for our clients and future clients. Come join us at designcoven.com/join. I'm so excited to have interior designer Rachel Moriarty, aka the Queen of Color, is the principal designer and creative director of the multidisciplinary design studio House of Moriarty, Inc. Since launching her design studio, Rachel Moriarty Interiors, in 2014, she has made her mark in the San Diego luxury residential market with her colorfully coastal aesthetic. Rachel embodies her personal belief that color adds interest and excitement to the world. And like a chef seasoning a meal, she sprinkles it liberally to add passion and flavor to each of her projects. Her work has garnered awards, media coverage, and global recognition, enabling her to expand her studio not only to interior design clients, but also to brands as a licensed collaborator and global brand ambassador. Today's conversation is so fun. She is full of color and personality, and we have so much in common, which was really, really beautiful. I didn't realize she is a fellow Filipino American, just like myself. We've got lots of things in alignment as far as like coming into the design world, how we came into the design world, the timeline, as well. She went off on her own in 2014, as did I, and started the business, or started, I should say, interior design in 2005, which is where I started officially after graduating. She has so much wisdom. She comes from a background without schooling, without a degree, which I think is so inspiring. We talk about how her background does connect with a lot of the members of the Design Coven, which she is joining our interior design panel for July. And that happens on July 8th from 9 to 10 in the morning on the Design Coven, where we get to dive into 3 designers' lives and their practices, and they get to share their experiences, their failures, and of course their successes, so that we can all learn from them. So if that's something that you would be interested in, I invite you to join the Design Coven. Just go to bewitchingthehome.com. The link is there. And this is for anybody that is looking to enter the design world, whether or not you have a degree. You don't have to have one to join the Coven. You could be a student. You could be somebody that is in a career that just isn't fulfilling and is looking for something that will be more fulfilling, that will suit you in a way that really drives your creative freedom, your creative magic. So I would just love to have you all there if that's something that you would be interested in. I hope you enjoy this episode with Rachel as much as I did, because really we did have fun, and there's so much more to come in the future. We are just collaborating machines over here. So stay tuned and enjoy. You're listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business Podcast. This is a podcast that guides you as a new or inspiring independent interior designer navigating your entrepreneurial path. Here, with my over 20 years experience, I will share my holistic approach to design with intention and ancient practices, including feng shui, all incorporating mind, body, and spirit into my design projects. You will also learn from seasoned interior designers as they give strategies and insight of how they built their businesses and continue to work in the field. Together, we will discover supportive trade partners, new ideas, creatives, and inspiring artists from around the world. I am your host, Rachel Larraine Crawford. Welcome, welcome. I have Rachel Moriarty Interiors here with us today, which I'm so excited about. This is in alignment with our sessions through the Design Coven. She will be on our panel coming up on July 8th. Before we get started in that space, I'm going to go ahead and set our space with just our minds and getting into the present moment. So first, by just ringing our bell, anchoring into our bodies, our space. And of course, I have to light our candle. So I've got a beautiful Beeswax Mithras Candle here, connecting us with the spirit of fire, creativity, connection, and communication. So I'm going to go ahead and light this beautiful candle. And then, of course, I'm going to pull a card just to connect with the energies for today. Right. So today I'm pulling from Moon BB Magick Tarot with Angela Mary Magick. And I pulled this deck, Rachel, because it's so colorful. It's like the most
perfect
colorful deck that I have. So I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be so good. We have to play with color.
Perfect.
And yeah, we can talk about all that, of course, but color, I feel like, is such a huge influence in design. And lately I've just been seeing lack of color. So it's like, we need color here.
Yes.
This is the number 11, Justice and Equality is our cards. This is actually the card of Libra and that connection of balance, harmony. Just being in that space, which of course is a huge principle in design, is having harmony, right?
Yes.
And balance.
Yep. Harmony at home.
Exactly. Yes. All right, Rachel, what are you sipping on over there? What is your drink of choice this morning?
I had to put it behind me because I knew I'd forget. Pomegranate green tea, iced, and I have a lot of citrus trees here, so I also got some oranges and put some orange slices in it, and it's delicious.
Wow, oh, that sounds good. I'm glad that you mentioned the citrus thing because I have New Moon and Leo tea that we collaborated with Paru Tea. And this is elderflower, rooibos, lemon peel, orange peel, and marigold. So also in that citrus
yum
family. Yes. And the color is divine.
Tea season. It's so warm.
Absolutely. So Rachel, I always start off by asking, what is home? What's home for you right now?
That's such a big question. Oh my gosh. It sounds like it's an easy question, but it really is such a big question. For me, really home is everything. It's kind of I've always considered it my partner. I almost personify it. So kind of my partner in crime. I am an introvert, and a lot of my business and all of the aspects of my business are doing things like this and going out to events. And so for me, it really has to be a place of, where I can, from how I wake up in the morning, I have a very creatively inspiring bedroom. And I kind of set my closet up like a boutique. And, I always, from the moment I wake up, I feel super creative. Getting dressed is part of that creativity. And, it's just kind of like a layering thing in the morning. It just helps me become the version of me that can go out and market myself every day, go out and grow the business, go out and do speaking events, podcast interviews. So for me, it really is just kind of my partner in crime.
Oh my God. Yeah. And your sense of style is beyond. I'm just in love with everything and the color. I mentioned it a little bit before, but I felt like the design world really went so bland with everything being white and gray.
Yes.
And so you were like this breath of fresh air where it's like, we can have fun. We can we can play, we can be creative. Can you share with us a little bit of your maybe your design aesthetic or how you would verbalize your sense of style?
Sure. I mean, I think everyone calls me a maximalist. And I'm definitely a maximalist, and that can mean a lot of things, and it has evolved over time. It was, kind of a semi hoarder situation, and has my husband and I love to like flea market and estate sale and do all of that. But as I go along, it has to be like a very pared down,
Mm,
layered approach. It's still a lot for most people, but I really have to kind of keep things kind of edited. So it's a very edited approach to maximalism, is what it is.
and do you find that that is connected to your design process and how you operate there too? Or
Oh, no, nobody would ever hire me to design their house the way I design my own. Which was really kind of a thing, if you're talking to newer designers, there
yeah.
was a little bit of fear for me in the beginning to become really visible online with my own style, because I'm like, how do
Mhm.
I serve the luxury market yet I like to thrift?
Yeah.
And so there was like a little bit of a gap, like they're not going to hire me, to bring luxury into their home if I'm, out scouring estate sales, or my home looks, very, thrifted and curated in
Yeah.
that way. It was a thought error. I think a lot of us have thought errors about our own homes. And it wasn't until I started sharing my
Mm,
style in areas of my home, from my she shed to my bedroom, really I think I've shared every space in my home. But it was, there's a trust that you build. People are having us come into their home. So
yeah.
I like to invite people also into my home and to see how I live as well.
That is so beautiful. I love that you connected those two pieces and addressed that. I think that's so vulnerable of you to be able, because I mean, people letting us into their homes is very sacred. And then you
Yeah,
on the other side doing that for them. I think that's
exactly.
incredible and really, really rad. How did you get into this world of interior design?
Totally organic. I am self-taught. Um, I started in fashion. I've always been a creative. Really, I always say I was born and fabricated. I was designed and fabricated to be an interior designer. My father was an artist and studied architecture. My mom is just like an uber creative, even though she doesn't really identify as a creative.
Yeah.
And I started in fashion. That was sort of my gateway drug into, all things pretty. And I did visual merchandising. I did photo
Mm.
styling. That was a big for about a decade. I did photo styling. That's where I met my husband on the set of a photo shoot. He was a
Oh
photo
my
assistant. I
gosh.
was a stylist. So and then I lived in Dubai and I used to be a visual merchandiser there. So I've always like really kind of made things look pretty. I've owned a boutique in La Jolla when my about 20 years ago. And then I worked in home furnishings, and that's where I started working for Ethan Allen and Bassett Home Furnishings. That's where I learned the trade, doing house calls and space planning and, all of that. And then I eventually got a certification, and it was originally in home staging and interior redesign. So just like
Okay.
restyling spaces. And it was like the heyday of HGTV decorating shows,
Yeah.
with the fun decorating shows, the design on a dime, and, all of those like really cool, fun shows. And that's kind of where I started. That was my passion. I would go in and basically restyle homes with what people had, not really bring in a single thing. And then, of
Yeah.
course, as I did that, that evolved. And,
Mm.
into the business, that I have now. And I did take a hard left at a certain point. I actually went into banking for 8
Oh my
years
gosh.
after I had a divorce. I know. And I did private banking, and I just happened to be like a really good banker. It was because it's about relationship. And
Yes.
I learned it helped me work with high net worth individuals.
Mm.
And, I'm always like, if there's a building with a name on it or a street, I worked with them. Now,
Oh my
some of those
gosh.
people are my clients. It helped me talk about numbers. It helped me do my spreadsheets. I'm not, um, I'm not afraid to, like I always tell them anytime you can ask to see my spreadsheets, they're on point. So it taught me a side that did not exist before.
Oh
And
my
it was
gosh.
definitely it makes so much sense.
That's so rad. So just based on all those things that you said, I have several like paths that I want to go down and have a bunch more questions. So when did you work
Okay.
at Ethan? I'm like, okay, boom, boom, boom. When did you work at Ethan Allen?
When did I work at Ethan Allen? I think it was like maybe I don't know, maybe like 2005 or 6.
Yeah.
I can't
So
remember.
I was with them at about that same time.
Which
Were you at
one?
I was in
Claremont?
La Mesa. I was in La Mesa.
Oh, I was at Claremont. I was at Claremont.
Okay, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and my partner, Carl, which I don't know if you know, he was there for 18 years. So he was both in La Mesa and in Claremont toward the end.
No way. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's crazy.
it's
That
just
is
funny.
crazy. Yeah, and I'm
So,
still friends with all of, a lot of the designers I work with.
yeah,
In fact, if they are at other showrooms, and somebody meets with me and they don't have the budget to work with an interior designer,
yeah,
I will send them, some of them are like, Woodbridge or
hmm,
whatever, I'll send
yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
to these specific people, like go work with this person and, they're amazing. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
yes.
so happy I made those connections.
That's so funny. Yeah, I remember I went to I think Marlene was probably there at the same time as you. Yeah, so
Yes.
she and I were in training together. So funny.
You didn't get to go to Danbury, did you?
No, we were
Oh,
in Irvine or Tustin.
I was the first one that got to go to,
Oh my god.
um, where Farouk did the hiring. We had to
Yeah.
do the whole thing for Farouk, and then we went and spent 2 weeks back east. That was so
Yeah.
fun.
So fun. Oh my gosh. But yeah, like these experiences and you even talking about the bank, that's huge because we have a lot of people in the design coven that are in, careers that are successful. It's completely different from design. And for me, it's like there's so much knowledge in there that you have developed and the experience itself. And there's something in there that is definitely going to propel you in the design world. And I love that you've connected it from the bank to connecting with relationships and the way you operate and the way you run your business with that background in mind. I think that's huge. And I'm always
It's
trying to uncover
huge.
that.
Well,
Hmm.
and if that's a lot of your audience, I mean, honestly, it was something that I tried to hide in the beginning. There was
Yeah.
a voice in my head. There was a voice in my head. I do not know who she was, but she kept saying, "Who is going to hire a banker to decorate their home?"
Hmm.
Just kept playing and looping and looping. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So at the beginning, I would try to hide that fact. Then I started coming against those really analytical husbands, or I have a lot of lawyers
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
engineer clients. And what it was like, then it was like, whoa, I could sell that project and close that, and walk out with a retainer check. If they knew I was going to be a good steward of their money.
Yeah.
And so, it is their biggest investment. So there are so many transferable skills that we learn in corporate. I mean, when I would run these massive projects. And this is kind of nothing compared to what I did in corporate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's like really like what you can tell people. It's really can sell them. Like you don't
Hmm.
want to say this is a walk in the park because
No,
we
no, no,
charge a
no.
lot of money, and it is not an easy job, but it is a lot. It's a lot. I always say it's a lot sexier for me to sell me than it is to sell like a loan. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Of course.
So
But
much easier.
yeah, and you can speak their language, which is a
Yes,
big, big asset.
exactly.
And you just mentioning your clients, us too, we have a lot of lawyers and engineers
Yes.
that are
Yes.
clients and they want to know the hardcore things like how
Yep.
does this operate? How does this work? Where am I saving? What am I doing? And they want to run, right? They want
Hmm.
to make a decision. They want to make a very fast decision. And if they know that you're
Yeah.
on their team and on their side
Yeah.
about financials, it's incredible.
Yeah. It's a big part of our job.
Mhm. Do you have any other nuggets of wisdom or things that you can share with our designers that are wanting to jump in? I've got a lot of people that, again, that don't have any experience, but they've got, experience in the real world. Is there anything else you can kind of help them break through these blocks of this imposter syndrome, of hiding behind something or not really, coming into their own? Like, you've already given us so much, but I'm just wondering if there's anything else that kind of comes to mind
Yeah.
that you can
Yeah,
help
all
them.
of that, I remember when I started, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just thought like I can just hide behind my laptop. My work's going to speak for itself,
Yeah.
and I was like, what, like here was my work up here and then I was going to be way back here in the background. And it's really not like that. You need to actually be, especially if you're a smaller design
Hmm.
studio and a personal brand, you really have to become the face and the personality of that.
Hmm.
You cannot skip steps. So you have to first create the container. A lot of people are starting their business from Instagram and they don't have like their website and their business bank accounts or a business
Yeah.
entity. You cannot skip steps. Like really just like you did very ceremoniously opening the ritual for this conversation and this energy flow. It's the same thing with business. You have to create the container and the accounts to
Yeah.
receive the money because without the money, there is no business. And the other thing is like always be marketing. I market myself every single day. I think that we are in such an amazing space to have social media, and social selling is free. And
Yeah.
it's like we don't have to wait for like uh AD to call us to,
Yeah.
feature a project or HGTV or whatever. It's like we can do whatever we want. We control the narrative. And I think
Absolutely.
social is such a gift. I mean, that's how I completely grew my business, and I continue to create amazing opportunities from social
Mhm.
selling.
Yeah. And you had mentioned being an introvert and having to kind of come out of that and be the face of your company. Do you have any tips on or suggestions on what they can do right now to start coming forward? I just had a design session this
Yeah,
morning with one of our coven members and she's just like, I don't want to show my face. It's just this fear. And it's like, oh, but you have to
sure.
because this is like you're selling yourself. So do you have any tips
Yeah.
and
Well, I mean, we walk up to the door of our clients. It's not like we can like completely hide from the process,
yes.
So you have to remember that. And my clients, there's a comfort level, like when they know, "Oh, I've seen that caftan
Mm,
before, or I saw that
yeah.
scarf, or I remember when, I loved what you wore to whatever." Like, it's a whole thing, for me and my business. It's really builds that know, like, and trust factor, but you can also, start with your hands. Like, just start with something, your hand touching fabrics, or, shooting from a perspective, like, of what you're looking at, maybe from like half of your body from
Mm,
behind.
mhm.
Maybe start they can do you can do voiceover on reels now, like pan one of your flat lays that you do and then talk about, or your studio space, or your workspace or whatever. There's so many ways to do it without showing your face. And I would say though, eventually, like I tell my students, I do digital courses. I'm like, at least every 9 squares on Instagram, there has to be like something of people will respond to it, and you'll see once you
Yeah.
start doing it. It sounds weird, but every picture with your face in it is going to get so much more engagement. So when I have like new project photos, I always jump in and I try to embody the project. Like I will actually like wear whatever is coordinating with my project, and I use that portraiture to kind of start. I'll post that one picture of me, get all of that engagement up, and then I'll start posting like sequential pictures of the
Mhm.
of the project just to get that interest up. And so you will have to, you can tiptoe up to it though. It's not, you don't have to
Yeah.
completely jump in. There are other ways to do it. Use your voice, use your hands,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Ah, those are so great tips. I love that. Yeah, tiptoeing in, going slowly, getting a little bit more comfortable, pushing yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, on this post that you're talking about with your face forward, are you creating a carousel with the design photos behind it, or is it design
No.
posts after?
I drip my content out because I post every single day.
Okay.
I mean, if you're not posting every day, then you could do a carousel. I don't like to dump. I pay too much in photography to like
Yeah.
hide my things behind carousels. I want every single thing on the grid.
Love it.
So I drip mine out every day. So it's like
Okay.
different parts, different, maybe the whole room one day, maybe a tight vignette the next day, and just kind of drip it out like that.
Got it. And are you manually putting all of this in, or do you
Mhm.
use a program like Planoly or any of those, or is it
No, I'm a really everything is done like just
in the
it's
moment?
kind of like in the minute. It's the first thing I do in the morning.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I just love like hearing different people's processes and how we operate. And you mentioned photography. Do you photograph all your projects, or are you selective on which ones you photograph and which ones you feature?
So I photograph almost all of my projects because something in every there's a lesson in everything. Like
Hmm.
sometimes I am so blown away if it's a consult or only or like a hybrid of a virtual service, like if they can't do the full not everybody can do full service interior
Yeah.
design. It's just
Yeah.
too much. It's a certain client. So some people I will do like a hybrid of virtual where all the deliverables are online,
Okay.
and sometimes I'm just like, wait, what? Like they'll show me after they're done and I'm like, that looks just like the concept. Like, and so I will,
Wow.
photograph it so that I can blog about it or tell
Yeah.
people it sells your services. Like, look at what this person did. I went to their house, I took pictures, I measured. This is what I delivered to them, and this is what they did on their own. And but they did all the implementation. So you can do it like that, or this is a kitchen that I did, and this was a very collaborative. This husband is the cook, and he loves to research, and he knew what he wanted, but he didn't know what all of it. And so all of it's
Hmm.
content, all of its content.
Yeah.
And so I try to photograph everything because I like to tell people all of the different ways that they can work with an interior designer. It's I don't just I can only do a couple full service
Yeah.
clients a year, and I'm
Okay.
usually working with them. Some of them will finish, and they after 2 years they'll sell the house and they'll start again because they just
Yep.
love the whole. They should have been creatives, but they own a 150 person law firm, and they
Yeah.
it's good money, and they're kind of like, this is how I get my creative fix.
Oh, cool.
So I have certain clients that I go along with for years, and then some that I consult with. So I love, and I'm just a content creator by nature.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do photograph most of my projects.
Amazing. And it sounds like you have different services for different at different levels. Can you kind of share with us? Are those
Yeah.
packages? Like what does that look like?
Yeah. I started online interior design in 2014 when I was still working in banking. So my
Okay.
first client found me on Facebook. So that's how long I've been social selling.
Got it.
I was side hustling, and I was just like doing friends and family at that point. And my daughter with my iPhone would take pictures of me putting pillows at the end of the thing, or you know what I mean, that kind of like
Amazing.
staged
Amazing.
kind of shot. And somebody hired me from Tucson to, that she had gone through like this really horrific divorce, and she needed to reclaim her space and reclaim her life. And I
Yes.
was so like, oh my single
Yes.
mom and all of these things. And I was like, we are doing this. And I'm like, it's
Yes.
going to be a little clumsy in the beginning. I haven't done this before, but and
Yeah.
so and I've gone on to do like multiple homes, her mom's homes, her
Oh my
colleagues' homes. I
gosh.
mean, it's just like totally blew up my business in that area. But so online interior design, don't do a lot of it anymore.
Okay.
But was doing it especially during quarantine. And
Okay.
now I can do a little bit of a hybrid. So I'll go meet the client in their home, take pictures, meet with them, do all of that, and then we'll create the deliverables, and then I'll send it. I have an online uh, studio through
Okay.
MyDoma, which is an online software. And so all of the products and deliverables and product lists and all of
Amazing.
that is delivered through there.
Okay. Wow, that's so
That's
cool.
one way. A
Okay.
lot of consulting, a lot of consulting. I'm finding, especially now, clients, half their tradespeople, they have the
Mm,
skills. They've remodeled a couple of houses on their own,
mhm.
but now they've up leveled to like a multi-million dollar house or something like that. And they know that they can only get it up to a certain level, and they really
Right.
want to get it up to that kind of in magazine worthy sort
Yeah.
of, look. But I'm finding I'm doing a lot of that type of consulting right
So when you're consulting, are you, what does that look like? And I assume that they're purchasing their own and they're finding their own contractors to execute?
a lot of the time. Yeah. A lot of the time they already have that in place,
Okay.
and they've maybe demoed something
Okay. So are you
before
are
they
you
thought to call an interior designer.
you're like, "Ah, what are you
I'm
doing?"
like, good thing and I can only take them if I have a window in the workflow. Because I'm
Got
like,
it.
you guys are like skipping the line,
Yeah.
FYI. But because you're in this place and I happen to have, a little margin, I could take
Yeah.
on this project. Obviously,
And
some of them I would have to pass on if I just don't have the time,
yeah.
if I'm not
Yeah, for
there to
sure.
like.
For sure. And how many hours are those consultations? Or does it
So
vary?
I will kind of do like, I like to sell in like blocks of like 20 or 40 hours.
Yeah.
It depends. Is it, a space? Is it a house? Is it, and then I kind of track that
Yeah.
way.
That makes sense. That's what we start. We have a 20-hour minimum where we are like, okay,
Hmm.
if you don't want to do full fledged, we can start with 20 hours and you can
Yeah.
use us however you need.
And for newer designers, if that is like easy for you to, you have to figure out what's easy for you to sell, what
Yeah.
number flows off of your tongue easily, what you can get a certain result
Hmm.
from. Like with this 20 hours, this is going to get you this,
Yeah.
and so you just have to be really confident and know how long things take, and make sure that it can still be profitable so you can still
Yeah.
stay in business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And keeping
So
track of your
yeah.
time, not giving things up for
Yes,
free.
keeping definitely, yes.
So are you billing hourly or are you flat rate or you kind of do a hybrid or?
Yeah, so I kind of like, I try to think of what I would like if I was a client. So the
Hmm.
endless hourly for me, it's really hard for me to sell. That being said, I do sell hourly. So I do when I scope out a proposal, I do an
Right.
estimated hours.
Yep.
And I let them know if all goes well, and we know it never does.
Yep.
This is where we're going to be, just so they know. Once
Exactly.
we open these walls, and then I
Yeah.
kind of put that in that, and then if I've got to go do something else, or it changes the scope, or you decide to add, well, everything's open,
Gonna
let's
add.
add this other bathroom, then we go into overtime. So
Exactly.
um yeah, so I just kind of do it. I'd like to give
Yeah.
them an estimated amount so they just kind of have something in their head, and then I'll
Hmm.
be like, well, remember when you added on
Yeah.
the
A
office?
whole nother.
That's the spill, So yeah, I'm really like, I mean, I talk about money very easily
Yeah.
with my clients, and I don't have a problem with that. And I'm kind of playful with it. They have it. It's not like when I first started though. When you first start,
Yes.
your clients really don't like, the number is the number for a lot of clients when you get
Hmm.
your early days. So you have to be really good about budgeting.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're on the same page. We do the exact same thing. We come out, we look at the scope, we put a proposal together. We have an estimated time of hours. We collect a retainer. If something
Yeah.
adds on or something changes, we try to make it super clear. Okay, that's probably going to add another 30 hours. So, just keeping
Hmm.
that in mind so that you can keep going.
Yeah.
Very cool. Um, any other bits of advice or things that you can share with us about
No, I mean,
what
really,
we might
it's,
need to know?
again, starting to create the business entity and the account, and start right from the beginning.
Yes.
Um, Always be marketing, and then getting past. Do whatever you do. The most amount of money, honestly, I spend in my business is coaching, and it's
Mm,
not business coaching. It's
yeah,
my brain coaching.
absolutely.
Because every day, when you put yourself out there and you're selling yourself, and and your concepts, It's like you have
Yeah.
to be okay. Or, just the other day I styled a space and she didn't like some of the pillows that I brought in,
Yeah.
and sometimes you're like, wow, you could take that personally. I
Yeah.
don't, I
We
always tell them,
can't.
you cannot hurt my feelings at this. I've
Yes.
been doing this since 2005. I promise
Yeah.
you, you cannot hurt my feelings. But sometimes in the beginning, you get heavily emotionally invested in things.
Yeah.
And so, you just really, for me, it's all about, anyway, having a business, you'll see, to the people listening, once you start the entrepreneur journey, it uncovers so much. You're like, whoa, all of this
Mm,
like childhood stuff and shadow work
yeah.
that has to be done. It's insane. So I spend the
Absolutely.
most amount of money. I have always had business coaches. Life coaches,
Yeah.
sometimes business coaches. And then if there's something specifically I need to learn, I'll pay for those courses. So always continue to educate yourself.
Oh, such good advice. I absolutely love it. Are there any rituals or practices that you're enjoying right now to kind of keep you grounded, keeping you centered?
Well, I think mornings are my best time. I
Okay.
wake up in the morning and like I said, I personify kind of my house. And so I go through and I feel like I wake up my home. I
Hmm.
get up and I open the curtains and I open the windows and I get the air flowing. I literally walk through every
Mm,
room and just I have to create, certain lights come on even in the day, and then music comes on just like you. I
yeah.
light a candle and I am Nespresso obsessed. I love my
Me too.
Nespresso. I love my foamer. So
Yes,
I
the
start my
foamer.
day. Yes, I start my day with my Nespresso. I think it's so beautiful. I'm just so in love with the foam that it makes. Um, and I really, if you follow me on Instagram, every day you are going to see my Nespresso. I shoot it either down on one
Oh
of
my
my
gosh.
caftans, or if I have like a flat layout, or there's always like fabric or wallpaper or something as the background, and I
Yeah.
take a picture of it and then I add some music and add the day. And it's sort of like my sign to the universe that I am open for business.
Oh,
it's just like a thing I love to do. It sparks my creativity first thing in the morning too.
yeah.
It's like, I do this every day. So how do I make this different than,
Mm-hmm.
the last 6 months? So every
Yeah.
day it just pushes my creativity because we need to push that.
That's so beautiful. I love that you just curate your mornings and it just sets the tone for the rest of the day.
I curate my life. I mean, I really, as an
Yeah, you
ex
do.
visual merchandiser,
Yeah.
I merchandise everything and I just love flowing through spaces that, have been totally merged. Like here I have a drinks bar behind here. And it's the non-alcoholic drinks bar. And then I have
Yeah.
the, actual adult drinks bar over there, and so like everything just has to have like a vibe for me.
Ugh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I we need
Yes.
to like do a little tour of your house because that looks so fascinating. I love it.
It's
It's
a
so
tiny house. Like I
beautiful.
have a little
Ah,
mid-century home. It's super small, super crowded because I'm a
I love it.
maximalist.
I love it. So fun. You had
Yes.
mentioned having digital courses. What is that? I had no idea.
Yeah. So my business, I was telling you, like, is because of social selling. What you'll notice as you go along in your business, people are going to see what your point of view is,
Yeah.
and there are opportunities. So interior design services isn't my only income stream. So I do a lot of influencer marketing.
Okay.
I work with brands and businesses on campaigns and collaborations. I have product
Beautiful.
licensing. I do paid global brand ambassadorships.
Oh my gosh.
Um, I work with the, big brand. I have some big brand collaborations coming up.
Amazing.
Um, I work with High Point Market Authority on their
Mm,
diversity advocacy alliance. This is a new group that started because of all the things that happened.
yeah.
And it's, in the South, and it needs to be a
Wow.
little more diverse.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways I give back to the community. I do digital courses on a course called Visibility for Creatives.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the podcast A Well-Designed Business by Luann Nigara.
Yes. Yes.
She has a really, really big podcast. I think she's at like 5 million downloads
Oh my
now. She
gosh.
has a university and offers courses. So I do one of the courses through
Oh
her,
my
or we'll
gosh.
do
Okay.
a mastermind at High Point Market. I'm also leading tours at High Point Market. Um, and what else am I do a lot. Like
Yeah,
I
you
do a
do. Oh my
lot besides
gosh.
interior design services. Yeah.
That's amazing. Absolutely wonderful. And so I assume we can find out about all these courses and these offerings on your website?
Yes. So you can, or if you just follow me out, if there's something coming up. So
Okay.
like next month in Atlanta, I'm co-emceeing the Design Influencers Conference, which is a great conference to go to if you want to. It's specifically set up to pair designers and brands and
Beautiful.
create magic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be following you. And so what is your Instagram?
Rachel Moriarty Interiors, all over the interwebs.
Everything. Okay, perfect. And we'll have all the
Yeah,
links
there's a
in the
lot
show
of
notes.
Rachel Moriarty out there. There's a lot.
Oh my gosh. So what, okay, I mean, you've already started this whole conversation. What's brewing? Do you have any other big things that you're working on at the moment that you want to share with us? I know you've got the
Right
conference
now I
coming up.
have I have several, I mean, no announcements yet, but I'm doing product licensing. I'm doing working with a tile company. I'm working with a mirror company, which is going to be really fun.
Mm.
Plumbing
Oh my
company.
gosh. Look at you.
I mean, yeah, I just have so many things, irons in the fire right now.
Wow.
It's really fun. I really love it because I came, like I said, out of like advertising and photo styling. So I found that skill brands
Mhm.
really love because I just have a
Mm.
different eye for, for
Yeah, it's a whole
products
nother
and
talent.
branding.
Yeah, it's an
Mhm.
art. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, we've learned
So
so much from
lots
you
of
today.
opportunity. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for everyone in the design coven to get a piece of you on Friday.
Can't wait to meet everyone.
Oh my gosh, they're going to be so excited. And I just love your story because I think it really resonates with where everybody's at, or a lot of the members are.
Mhm.
And you're such an inspiration and such a beacon. I think it's just going to be a wonderful, wonderful conversation and learning.
It's one of the things you have to, I always talk about expanders. You need to see somebody doing something that maybe you didn't never even thought was possible. And you're like,
Abs-
whoa, you can make money doing that as an interior designer? So I've had expanders throughout my career, and that's like
yeah.
what molded my, all the income streams that I have.
Yeah.
So
Well, I need to talk to you too. Do you offer consultation, one-on-one consultation with other
yes, I
designers?
do. I don't advertise them, but
Okay.
I do. Yeah, of course.
Well, I will be in touch.
Yes, yes,
Oh my
definitely.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Thank you, Rachel, so much again for sharing your wisdom, taking the time out of your day. I know it's a holiday weekend, and we just really, really appreciate you for
Oh
giving
my
back to the
gosh.
community. It's huge. Like, I
Thank
can't
you.
express to you how much you being here is really going to impact our community. It's really, really cool.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Thank you so much for connecting. So happy to be
Of
connected.
course. Of course. You've been listening to the Holistic Interior Design Business podcast. If it's one that you have been enjoying, please share with anyone else that you think can benefit from this knowledge, and leave us a 5-star review that helps us get seen and found by other new and aspiring interior designers. And if you're looking for mentorship, I invite you to join our club here at the Design Coven. It's a bridge between school and real life interior design. We get in much deeper there. We have virtual and in-person events. So everyone is welcome. You don't need to have a design degree to be part of it, just an interest in holistic interior design. I also want to thank our editor, Marcy Ferry, and lastly, Kinseth Thibodeau, who is our music composer. Until next time, be well, and we will see each other soon.